This is Dan from Action Figure Magic, and we have one of the G.I. Joe classified figures that I was most excited about getting. Right here, I have one of my original G.I. Joes. This is one of my top three. This is Wetsuit. He's just a fantastic G.I. Joe, one of the more unique designs, a lot of character. He wears a wetsuit, but he also runs around on land with it. He doesn't let it stop him. He is ready to splash at any moment, and he's got a flashlight. This is just such a great G.I. Joe. Like I said, one of my favorites, and they finally put him out a little bit late, a few years into the run of G.I. Joe Classified, but I would say this was one that I'm so excited to get. And from an articulation standpoint, he's got really smooth articulation. Usually the G.I. Joe Classified are a little bit clunkier out of the box, but no, he's got super smooth articulation. He's got the double jointed pinless elbows and knees. They can go all the way back. He's fully loaded with all sorts of belts and bells and whistles. And I do got to say his ankles are a little bit loose, but his ab crunch is fantastic. And he's got the full splits. I want to say the ankles might be a little bit loose because of the flippers that he gets. Or it could just be out of the box, his ankles were a little bit wonky. So I'll see if I can fix him later, but the stop motion out of the box, he was flipping all over the place, so I'll have to work on that a little bit. Yeah, even just trying to get him the balance right now, you can see it's not too well, versus most of the G.I. Joe Classified figures, or Hasbro figures in general, Marvel Legends, Star Wars Black Series figures, they have no trouble standing up right out of the box, but this guy is a little bit tipsy, and he just keeps falling over. So I would say, I don't know if that's a design flaw or if it's because he's got the flippers, they needed to do something slightly different, the ankles, or it could be mine. If you have a wetsuit and you have no issues with making him stand, let me know. Perhaps I will just need to pick up a different one or swap him out. But yeah, hopefully after the flippers go on, and I'll probably just have to display him in the flippers to keep him up. And here is the box. He is fully loaded with all sorts of goodies in there. They probably could have made this a deluxe figure with all the accessories and just gigantic things that are in there. I'm glad they did not, because then I didn't have to pay, deluxe prices for him. So let's have at him. So first, he's got a cool little knife. And I saw when we were looking at his legs and the articulation, it goes right on the little holster right there. So if he needs to, go buy a clam, do some light shucking, he could do that. And there we've got a nice little pistol that can go into his hand, also goes into a holster on his leg. And I want to take just a quick moment to appreciate his face sculpt on here. He's got a very Willem Dafoe-esque look. He either wants to save the Joes or defeat that Spider-Man. But I think it's an awesome sculpt. Definitely looks like Willem Dafoe to me. I'm not sure if I'm alone there. If I am, I will accept the fact that I'm wrong, but no, he's got very Dafoe-esque features. But unfortunately, we do have to cover them up with a mask. Taking a look at this helmet, we've got hoses on there. It's very reminiscent of the original Joe design, and it fits over his face. And we've got those hoses that look like they do fit into his backpack that he wears that's got the oxygen. And it looks like the hoses do come off. Yep, they plop right off. But then he's got a giant hole, and it's going to let some water in. They're not quite airtight, so probably don't want to do that if you're going to be going too deep into the water. But if you want to display them without the hoses, definitely an option. So it looks like on the back we've got 3 little spots for the backpack to sit. One, the normal hole for the backpack that the Joes wear. Then there's 2 little pegs in there, probably to keep it in place, or since it actually looks like it's supposed to attach to his vest, they made it attach to his vest. Then we've got our hose attachments for the oxygen. They go right in, and that's a good, clean fit. And the only problem I'm having with this mask is it is a little loose on his head, so it doesn't scuff the paint, which makes the eyes not quite appear where they should. So especially if I'm going to be doing stop motion with this is going to be moving around quite a lot if I want to make the head move. So I will just be aware of that. And then probably my favorite wetsuit accessory, the old flashlight. So they upgraded it with some more detail, some more coloring. It still has the wristband so he can not lose it underwater as he's going, looking for dolphin or walruses or seals, just the aquatic life that wetsuit enjoys so. And there we go. He's holding it. I love this thing. That is the perfect wetsuit accessory. And we've got this swimming jet that he could hold on to and just kind of breeze through the water, kind of like an underwater wing, which is pretty awesome. The original wetsuit came with this. It was all yellow, so again, similar to the flashlight. They gave it some more color and upgraded design. I'm trying to get him to hold it. There's not really a spot for him to grab onto it. I know on the back of the box they do have him holding it like that, but you could probably fit his hands around there. But I think since it's kind of it's going to look awkward, I'm just going to display wetsuit with the gun. I really like the pistol anyway, so he is going to hold on to the pistol, and that is my display wetsuit. And then we've got the flippers, which actually that is not my display wetsuit. The display wetsuit is going to be wearing the flippers so that he could stand up properly, and they just plop right in. So these are pretty awesome flippers. And there we go. Does it do the trick? And yes, he stands up like a tall penguin, majestically on the ice or water. And that's going to help him swim underwater. So yeah, this is... I'm hoping that that's why they made some changes to the ankle design, because it's just a little bit loose in my opinion. But with the flippers, it's perfect. I hope other G.I. Joe classified figures don't quite have that ankle issue, and this was a one-off for this very special figure. And there we go. We've got wetsuit with wetsuit, all the accessories in the world. This is, in my opinion, the perfect G.I. Joe design, one I've been waiting for. If you love them, pick them up. Thanks for watching. Enjoy.